Hi everybody! We made it to Zion National Park and are camping in the Watchman Campground, surrounded by stunning natural beauty. Before we review our 4-day Zion experience, we want to share how we got here as well as our thoughts on using the Moonshade with a Tab 400. Spoiler, it wasn't easy.
All in, we towed our NuCamp Tab 400 over 2,500 miles, in temperatures ranging from a high of 96 to a low of 36 degrees.
We stayed at 8 campgrounds, covering boondocking and full hookups. We got to try all of our new and existing gear, and we'll share our experiences in this and the next couple of videos.
We tracked our fuel economy, tire pressures, resource usage, and much more.
To start, we use the 330 rule, which means we try to limit ourselves to 330 miles or less, and arrive at our destination by 3:30 p.m. every day, so we can get situated in daylight and enjoy our surroundings.
The western U.S. is known for its wide open spaces, deserts, and mountains. When we tow here, elevation changes are something we always consider. We expected our SUV to do well with climbing from sea level to over 9,000 feet. But we were uncertain how our old Audi Q7 would handle descending some of the steeper grades in southern Utah.
We started with the familiar climb over the Cascades Snoqualmie Pass, soon leaving the landscape behind that so many associate with Washington State. Somewhere near the middle of our state, we turned south, crossing the Manistash Ridge.
Southeast Washington and Northeast Oregon look nothing like the country most imagine. Beautiful in their own ways, they are warmer and drier in the summers, colder and with more snow in the winters. We checked our tires from time to time, and given our starting point of 50 psi cold, our axle weight and the ambient temperature, I liked what we saw here.
The Pendleton area looked familiar again, but climbing the mountains of the Umatilla National Forest is no joke.
When I came to the Pacific Northwest nearly 30 years ago, I drove this stretch of Interstate 84 in April at night and in the rain. It cured me of road trips that have me driving through the night.
We ended our first driving day near Grande, Oregon. We wanted a comfortable, clean, and safe place to rest and enjoy the afternoon. The Grande Hot Springs RV Resort checked all of our boxes, and we recommend it to break up an otherwise very long drive.
Given the total weight of our trailer and the fact that we had to climb a couple of mountain ranges, our fuel consumption for the day was respectable at 13.7 miles per gallon.
Although our 12-volt fridge cools very quickly, we always turn it on sometime during the day before our departure. That, of course, causes a hit on our battery bank. In this particular case, our 400 amp-hour lithium house bank was down to 83% when we started our drive. But given our DC to DC charger and the 630 watts of solar on Snugglebean's roof, we reached 100% after only 4 hours.
Not a bad day of towing. Not bad at all.
We started our second day of driving with a gravel shortcut to I-84 instead of backtracking a few miles.
Perhaps not the best choice, but not too bad.
Our totals for the day were 310 miles in a little under 6 hours. The speed limits were higher from here on in, but we stuck to about 60 to 65 miles per hour, which gave us a fuel economy of 14 miles per gallon with an average speed of 53 miles per hour.
The weather was cooler, and so were our tires.
Idaho and Utah freeway speed limits are mostly 80 miles per hour, which pretty much meant that everyone was passing us. And that was just fine. We were on vacation.
Our route took us through and into Idaho's farmland, and while we were avoiding the mountains Idaho is known for, our drive wasn't exactly level.
The goal for the day was the Murtaugh Lake County Park, just a smidge past Twin Falls, Idaho.
The park was interesting in a number of ways. Clean and tidy, but with no sewer and no dump site. It was inexpensive and conveniently located. We are not sure if this was the time to fertilize or if there was a dairy nearby, but the flies were having quite a good time.
We did explore the park, but spent much of our time inside. Perhaps this is a good time to explain how we roll in Snuggle Bean.
Let's just look at some of the basics. We'll add more later. The wire that activates the trailer's emergency brakes was too long. We shorten it. Should our hitch ever come undone, this wire needs to pull out a pin before the chains come into play.
We added snap pads before the stabilizers were ever used, and insect and dirt protection before our first trip. Plastic chocks might be okay, but proper rubber chocks are far better and more rugged. We also never plugged Snuggle Bean into power without protecting her against electrical issues.
This county park was quiet, clean, and very well maintained. Owing to the Snake River being the obstacle that it is, we paralleled I-84 for a while to Burley, Idaho. I had planned fuel stops at Costco, but we came to appreciate truck stops. Even the non-commercial side of truck stops offered uncomplicated entry and exit. Our Tab 400 is easy to tow and maneuver, and we find nothing wrong with easy. With the freeway in sight, construction rerouted us over a narrow country road, and again, being small and nimble was appreciated.
As we progressed towards and into Utah, rolling farm country gave way to what looked like open range. On the map, this drive looked effortless and stress-free, but our elevation map showed that our aging Audi had work to do. Maybe it's just us, but driving through Utah's urban areas in the rain was more stressful than it needed to be. Traffic seemed detached from the conditions, and soon after we passed through the area, a major accident closed all southbound lanes. We hope everyone ended up all right.
Our goal for today was to reach Nephi, Utah, only 292 miles in under 6 hours. Despite driving at altitude, our fuel economy came in at 15.8 miles per gallon, bringing our total to 14.5. After tonight, we would stay at Watchman Campground in Zion National Park for 4 nights without the benefit of potable water or sewer at the campsite. That means we want to arrive with a full tank of fresh and empty gray and black tanks. As always, we don't use a lot of propane, but it is great to have it as a backup.
That means that we had chosen our stop for tonight to have full utilities. Endless clean showers, clean bathrooms, and laundry facilities made for a great stop before getting to Zion. The Rollin' Home RV Park scored very high in almost all regards. We wouldn't come here to vacation, but it was a great stopover. It even had a sauna. The park was a little close to the interstate, but the sound insulation of the Tab 400 did a great job blocking the noise.
Today played out exactly the way we had envisioned it. A warm day, but not too hot. A cool morning, but not too cold. A relatively short day, driving 225 miles in under 5 hours, but not too short, allowing for an arrival in the early afternoon when we would be able to check in at the Watchman Campground. Even Snuggle Bean's tire pressures and temperatures were ideal. Our elevation chart shows that we had an elevation gain of over 1,000 feet before descending to Zion National Park. Most think of the cliffs surrounding Zion as mountains. In reality, those mountains are the edges of the higher surrounding terrain.
The next 11 nights would be in and near national parks with limited provisioning opportunities. So we stopped by Natural Grocers in Cedar City for fresh produce before leaving the interstate behind for Highway 17.
Highway 17 and then 9 more and more gave us a preview of what was to come. That included our eventual departure from Zion to Bryce through the Zion, Mount Carmel Tunnel.
We arrived around 1:30 in the afternoon, checked in, set up, and explored the campground along with the visitor center.
Speaking of our setup, it included a Moonshade, and we had promised to provide a review specific to our trailer, a NuCamp Tab 400 Boondock Edition. So we'll interrupt our vacation to share our relevant experience.
We purchased 3 things in advance of this trip. A camping carpet using a standard online purchasing experience. The All-Pro window covers for $123 from All-Pro Adventures, with one of the best sales and post-sales support experiences around.
And then the Moonshade, along with some accessories, accompanied by one of the worst purchasing experiences we ever had. Frankly, everything having to do with what I would call sales operations went wrong.
But first, the good news. The product seems well engineered and designed. It is very compact and lightweight, and the product quality seems solid. The added moon wall adds much-needed shade when the sun is not directly overhead.
We prefer cooking outside, and the Moonshade would allow us to do so in the rain. This, by the way, is what replaced our much heavier and larger griddle. Still a cast iron surface, but it is much smaller while being large enough for the 2 of us.
We are okay with the gap between the awning, or shade, and the trailer. And if you open and close the door slowly, it rubs past the awning without pinching it. Not ideal, but workable.
The product measures 9 by 7 feet, and when you deploy the 9-foot side against the trailer, you would have to slide the Moonshade pretty far to the left to avoid the door. We have not tried the smaller 7-foot side against the trailer, but suspect it might end up high enough to avoid the door rubbing against the Moonshade. There are a lot of videos on setting it up, so we'll skip that part here. Now let's talk about our trials and tribulations.
First, Moon Fabrications sells the Moonshade as a kit for Tab 400 owners. Do not order that. It does not work. What turns the shade into a kit are anchors. Our catter rail is screwed into the side of our trailer. If your Tab 400 is different, please leave us a comment. The rather expensive anchors sold as part of the kit do not make it past the screws.
We discovered this as we were setting up the Moonshade in 95-degree sunshine. To make this work, we had to remove the screws one by one and slide the anchor past each of them. And even then, the anchors cannot be secured and will rattle around the rail. We have since removed those anchors and sealed the screws. Not sure if sealant was necessary, but we'd rather be careful. We are now trying smaller anchors, 8 millimeters instead of 9.5 millimeters, and those slide in fine, but also cannot be left in place.
We had multiple ordering issues, incorrect and partial shipments, no number to call, and over the course of 4 weeks, email support responded to us only on Tuesday through Thursday. We found incorrect product descriptions in text and in company videos. Would we recommend the Moonshade? It is compact and lightweight, and seems to be built to last. If that is all that matters to you, yes, go for it.
As far as we know, Zion National Park has 2 campgrounds. One has been closed for a while and is nearing the completion of a top-to-bottom remodel. The other is the Watchman campground. We were surprised to see that it accommodated big rigs, but most campers kept it small and mobile. There are flush toilets and potable water stations in the park, but at the campsites, only power is offered. We needed it. For showers, you need to bring your own or go to the outfitter just outside the main gate. One added benefit of staying in the park is that you are completely immersed in nature. The wildlife is unafraid and the views are stunning regardless of conditions.
We had a mix of weather, but when the skies were clear, it was also hot with temperatures in the 90s. We are happy to report that the Dometic CoolCat air conditioner does a fine job bringing the temperature down to something comfortable in our Tab 400. This location gave us very good access to the town of Springdale, the visitor center, both of the shuttle systems, and a couple of trails. We explored both. The Paris Trail follows the Virgin River, and offers a great view of the Watchman. And then there is the Watchman Trail, arguably with an even better view, but with some elevation gain. Bring your water for any of the trails.
One of my favorite trails in Zion is the Canyon Overlook. It involves some driving, and close-in parking is limited to exactly 10 spots, with more a little farther along the road.
Perhaps the most popular and iconic trail in Zion is called the Narrows. Here are a couple of things that greatly improve the experience. 1. Pay attention to the weather and flash flood warnings posted in the visitor center. We also learned that the Virgin River runs clear when all is well, and it turns murky when upstream rainfall muddies the water. Definitely skip this trail when you see this, or the sign advises you to do so. 2. While it is possible to avoid renting any special gear, it is much easier and safer to rent the appropriate footwear from one of the local outfitters, along with a sturdy pole that is long enough to grab with both hands as you hold it across your body to brace yourself. With that, enjoy the canyon and the refreshing, clear water. We will see you next as we leave Zion for Bryce Canyon National Park.